We're in the 2025 Subaru Outback wagon. This is the Touring XT trim with the turbo, coming in at $44,331. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how good this wagon is, and is it as good, however, as its competition, like maybe the Mazda CX-50 turbo or the Toyota Crown Signia hybrid. Let's get into it. Traditionally one of Subaru's best-selling vehicles, the Outback is built in Lafayette, Indiana, and this is the site many Subaru fans are familiar with. Is a boxer engine here that's turbocharged. This has about 260 horsepower and I think around 277 pound-feet of torque, if memory serves me correctly. Made it, of course, to a CVT, and then no surprise, we have Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive. We also have X-Drive equipped on this model. Now, you can get a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter, but I typically don't recommend that engine unless you're getting a much smaller vehicle than this Outback. So something like the Impreza, for example, it's okay on that 2.5 liter, but on this size of vehicle, I really like this turbo engine. I'm getting about 23 miles per gallon on it. I will tell you, when we start driving it, if it holds a candle to Mazda's turbo powertrain and Toyota's hybrid 2.5 liter naturally aspirated setup. I think off-road, this might be able to potentially beat its competition. But even though I said this is built in Lafayette, Indiana, the engine transmission is sourced from Japan. All right, so let's talk about the outside. I believe this is color is called Autumn Green Metallic. I like the fog lights on here. I believe these fog lights are standard even on the base grade, so props to Subaru sticking with fog lights, kind of like a part of their old rally heritage. We get to the side here, 18-inch wheels, and these 18-inch wheels, I tell you, do attribute quite good ride quality as we start riding it. So this touring trim, no surprise, we're gonna have a few glitzy parts like, you know, the door handles that are chromed out, the window trim that even flows into the side mirrors. And I almost wish this side mirror, and I apologize, the car's dirty. All it takes is for me to leave it on one side of my driveway and then my neighbor's sprinkler hit it and then it's game over. You guys might know what I'm going through. But anyways, yes, silver mirror tops. I think I would prefer to have that paint match, but it's nice to have a turn indicator on that side mirror. Of course, we have roof racks. Not really surprised here on a Subaru. I like the Outback cladding there on the passenger doors. We come to the back. Of course, we have the symmetrical all-wheel drive Touring XT badge. Anytime you see the XT here on an Outback, it's gonna let you know that we have the turbo powertrain on here. Oh, and also keep in mind, I believe you can get the Touring and the other trim levels as well, for the most part, without the turbo engine. The Wilderness, I believe, is the only powertrain, or the only trim level, I should say, that comes with the turbo. All right, big windshield wiper back here, no visible exhaust. We do have parking sensors in the back, which is quite nice. All right, getting into the hatch here, this is a big reason why people like wagons. They have SUV-like space and practicality without being too high, and since they're typically not too high off the road, they have a lower center of gravity, and therefore they handle better. Theoretically, they get better fuel economy. Well, I already said 23 miles per gallon. Here's nothing to write home about. A little net here. I like this heavy-duty rubber mat. You can fold down the rear seats, 60/40 there, and we also have a tonneau cover. You know, Subaru really prides themselves on being like a outdoorsy brand. I could have brought my dog. I brought my Husky in previous Subaru reviews, but I would just feel so bad. He's blowing his coat. If you guys know anything about Huskies, every once in a while, a couple times a year, they blow their coat, and it's like a molting bird for like a couple weeks. It's crazy. So I didn't bring him along to save the Subaru here from heaps of dog hair. But we also have a 120 watt power outlet here. It would have been nice if we actually had maybe an AC power outlet here, but at least we have a 12 volt there, and plenty of hooks to kit this thing out with. You got the Harman Kardon sound system in this, of course, on this top touring trim. Let's go and close that. I've been taking my kids to school in it this week. I've really appreciated this vehicle for that aspect. There's plenty enough room for the kids to get in and out. I like these brown seats. I typically don't like brown in cars, but I think it goes well with this green. It's a nice contrast and they complement each other quite well. Soft touch to the top of the back door, leather insert here. Leather insert or fake leather, fool me, I don't really care. It's soft touch, it feels nice, it looks nice. Nice contrast of materials on the door. Auto down and up windows in the back. So let's move the kids' seats around a little bit. And we have a USB-C, USB-A, and a high and a low heated outboard seats. Leave it to Subaru to have not only mat pockets, but like tri-sected mat pockets, 1, 2, and then 3 on each side. I like the vents back here. Now this is the top trim. Unfortunately, it does not have a panel roof. That's not even an option here on the Outback. Oh, and I just hit the headrest. These things are tricky. I'll just show this one instead. Like, don't get stuck in this position. I didn't realize they tilted for the first day. I was just really angry on how Subaru could make such a bad headrest, and then I just kept adjusting it, and then I'm like, oh, there it goes. So I really appreciate it in the upright position. It's a good headrest. Just make sure it's set up right. Now, smart key access here only on the front doors, and check that out. Traditional key insert there. And you're gonna find some things in here that are very old school. See, when a Husky is shedding, it's gonna permeate even if they're nowhere remotely close to the car. All right, so the leather seats here are quite nice. They are heated and ventilated here on this touring trim. Again, same materials on the front door. Memory seats up front. We actually have auto folding mirrors, pretty cool feature. Something I would expect for around 44K though. Again, more Harman Kardon speakers up top. This is a pretty basic skid plate here. It would have been nice if it was maybe metallic or something. Brown edged mats here on the touring trim as well. On the driver's seat, we have thigh extension, which is quite nice for people with long legs like myself at 6'1", 34-inch inseam. Closing the door, it closes quite nice. I'm gonna go ahead and get buckled up. Leather wrapped steering wheel is fantastic. We do have the eyesight technology here. We'll play with it a little bit today. No head-up display. We do have a digital rearview mirror, which I find fascinating. Check this out. If I press the camera, there's the front camera. So we can see that trailer in front of us, but there's no 360 camera on a $44,000, rugged Subaru. I know maybe the Wilderness would have the 360 camera. I'm not a specialist on the Wilderness trim, so let me know, guys, if Wilderness has a 360 camera. If that's the case, I'd probably just pick that over this. It has a lot more street presence too. And it has a little bit more ground clearance. This still has a ton of ground clearance if and when you would ever take it off-road. All right, I like the volume knob. I like the tuning knob. This 11-inch screen, it's slow. It's a little bit laggy getting in and out of apps. You can see Android Auto is, well, it takes up a ton of real estate. I like the verticality of the Android Auto, to be honest. I just wish I had physical climate control buttons, but honestly, I'm used to it. I could complain about it. It's not a deal breaker for me. Auto brake hold is right here, and you also have your vehicle settings under here. Unfortunately, this is not memory, so every time you turn off the car and turn it back on, it is going to forget that you had it on. Same thing with auto start stop, I believe. All right, so you have to toggle those things on or off depending on your preferences every single time you restart the car. With that being said, I'll just get back to Android Auto. I like that shortcut there. But with climate control, look how simple it is to adjust the fan speed. I mean, it doesn't bother me. Yes, I would prefer tactile controls. I feel like I'm more in control. I feel like I have a better connection with the car, but at least they've given me a volume knob. Some people will complain about the glossiness of the screen, the bezels. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we have some around here under this compartment on the dash, which the materials here are quite good. Again, good stitching, soft touch on the top. Traditional shifter here surrounded in glossy black that gets really dusty. We have a parking brake here. Check this out. This is old school. You have an old aux port right here next to your USB-C port. I feel like there's maybe only a couple other instances in the entire world, regardless of vehicles or not, where you'd have an aux port next to a USB-C port. They're just from two different eras of technology. All right, let's get into the cup holders. Cup holders are quite good. This one has a higher floor, so you could put like a smaller drink in here, a bigger drink in there. We do have a CD player. We don't have a wireless phone charger in here so I was looking for the wireless phone charger. At first I thought it was in here, but this is just kind of like a rounded cubby here. As you can see, my fingers kind of get pulled into the back of it. So that's not a wireless charger. But we do have the CD player. So there might be some purists out there that won't buy a car unless it has a CD player. And Subaru didn't cheap out, and they put a little bit of felt here at the bottom, which is gonna take some sound of rattles away. This is getting pretty outdated at this point too, but it doesn't bother me. I do like analog dials for your tachometer and your speedometer. Also heated steering wheel. I think I forgot to mention that. But you do have paddle shifters to simulate, I think, 8 gears on the CVT. And then I can change the information only at the tippy top that I'm aware of this screen. So there you have it. I'm getting about 20, well, it says 22 miles per gallon now, but it was 23 before I started this video. I was idling for a long time. So yes, it's 23 miles per gallon. I've been driving pretty much entirely in town. So like I said, just a standard roof here. We do have a sunglasses holder. And that's about it. So let's start driving Subaru's Outback and let's see if it's as good as his competition. All right, this is a weird thing. So auto brake hold, this is what I encountered this week with stop and start traffic, picking up my kids. Auto brake hold does a good job. It'll keep it in place. But if you press the brake again, it releases the auto brake hold. And that might be normal for some other manufacturers as well. I don't ever remember that being a thing though. So why is that important? Well, when I'm stopped with auto brake hold on, where my feet's not on the pedals, and then the engine fires on because it has a auto start stop engine feature, that engine fires on and it shakes the whole car. So every time that happens, I panic and hit the brake. And when it does that, it releases the auto brake hold, and then it starts going after I take my foot off the brake pedal. And so that happened to me 2 or 3 times. Now I know that weird nuance of this vehicle, so I don't. I pretty much defeat the engine start stop feature because it is too jarring, and it just turned off right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It's jarring. It can be like, it can really set you off if you're not expecting it. And like I said, auto brake hold doesn't like that jolting behavior. So we're just gonna torque brake here. I don't even know if there's a sport mode. There's not a direct button to it. So I'm just gonna torque brake. Oh, it does. Well, there we go. It goes so much better than any Subaru that's not turbocharged. Oh my gosh. I'm so used to driving naturally aspirated Subarus that take about 10 seconds, 11 seconds to get to 60. That's just at 0 to 60 in 6.4 seconds. 6.47. And 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.83. It is quick when you bury your foot into it. So I like this engine. Do I like the CVT in here? Well, foot down, it just goes. You're not waiting around much. It's pretty responsive. But here's the thing about this CVT that does annoy me is that when you're let's say you're at a stop at traffic and you're just keeping up with traffic, it gives you a nice little push off the line initially. And then the CVT acts like it needs to upshift. And the upshift puts the powertrain in a torqueless, powerless area. And so what you have to do is rebury your foot to get the car to accelerate at the rate it started at. It's very bizarre. Let's see if I can simulate it. There's no one behind me. So this is the character of the vehicle 90% of the time for me, because I don't have a heavy foot by nature. So, okay, here I am, I'm stopped, auto brake hold is on, all right, and I start going. And there it goes. It went to about 2,200 RPM, and then it went down to about 1,300 RPM, and the rate of acceleration just fell off completely. So I have to put my foot back into the pedal again to keep accelerating at the initial rate of acceleration that I was doing once I got off the line. I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments below if you guys understand what I'm saying. So that's just the only complaint I have about this powertrain, other than its pretty dismal fuel economy. Like I said, it says keep eyes on the road. My eyes have been on the road the whole time. Maybe I look at the camera every once in a while, but yes. Anyways, that's the eyesight technology. I'm not going to be, like I said, I'm not going to be messing with it too much. Handling in here. Well, here's the thing. What else does this vehicle do well other than torque and responsiveness? Well, gosh, it does handle well. The Subaru global platform and all the Subarus I've tested, they all handle great. They have great suspensions. The ride quality in this thing is fantastic. Let's start comparing to Toyota's wagon, the Crown Signia. Let's start comparing to Mazda's pseudo wagon, the CX-50. In terms of comfort, ride quality, this blows the Crown Signia out of the water. It blows the Mazda CX-50 out of the water. In terms of performance, this blows Toyota's Crown Signia out of the water overall. Okay. Yes, you have the CVT in here, and I'm just going, ooh, do you see the Daytona right there? Holy cow. Oh, it was a Plymouth. Was that a Cuda then? I don't even know. I'm not a classic American car guy by nature. Was that a Plymouth Cuda Daytona sort of thing? Hopefully you guys saw that. I see the craziest cars here in Florida. Anyways, comparing this to the Crown Signia, it's like, yes, I'll give up. I'm okay with giving up a little bit of engine refinement and performance for 40 plus miles per gallon. And I think Toyota's powertrain might even be a hair snappier. Pedal down. Yeah, I bet they're pretty close, but this just has a lot more torque. So anyways, yes, this has the edge on Toyota in terms of performance, but it gets half the fuel economy roughly in town. Comparing it to Mazda, similar fuel economy, maybe slightly better fuel economy, but Mazda has better performance. You have, what, 320 pound-feet of torque in that? You have 250 horsepower, so this has a little bit more horsepower, but Mazda doesn't have a CVT, and it's just so much more satisfying to bang through those gears in the Mazda. And handling, maybe, the handling is going to beat that Mazda CX-50, or it'll be close. The CX-50 has a torsion beam rear. The suspension on this is fully independent, front and rear, and it's just a dream. Like, this thing's a cloud, so it leaves its competition in the dust in terms of ride quality. But in terms of fuel efficiency, this vehicle just can't come close to Toyota's hybrids. Now, what about features? We're at a loss here compared to the competition. The instrument cluster here isn't anywhere as nice as Mazda or Toyota's. The center screen here, well, it's almost personal preference at that point, but the CX-50 I think just got a touch screen, but it's a horizontal. But the Toyota and the Mazda have tactile climate control, which I would take over this setup. So, and Mazda's interior and Toyota's interior, even though this is nice, it's a little busy for me. There's grays, there's silvers, there's piano blacks, there's browns and blacks and other materials up here. It's just a little busy for me. I would take the Mazda or the Toyota interior over this. And I didn't talk about braking. All of them are good at braking. I would say maybe the Subaru and the Toyota have a slightly better brake feel than the Mazda, if I remember correctly, but I can't really. It's been a while since I've been in a CX-50. I'm getting one actually tomorrow, the CX-50 hybrid, so stay tuned for that. There's one other big category that is important to people that I haven't covered yet, and that is design. The exterior design of this Outback, well, it's very Subaru. And to me, most Subarus, or at least modern Subarus, they don't get me that excited. And the Outback doesn't, when I see an Outback, I don't see it. It just kind of blends into everything else on the road. If I see a Crown Signia on the road, my eyes are glued to it. It's a gorgeous wagon, all right? And it's called the Crown Estate. In other markets, estate is another term for wagon. And the CX-50 is a looker. It's very impressive, but I have much better headroom in here than the CX-50. The CX-50 feels smaller than this, just by a little, especially in the back seat, I would say. So comfort, this is better than the CX-50. Performance, the CX-50 is the best. Looks, go to the competition over this vehicle. Efficiency goes to Toyota. So what are you looking for? Can I recommend this over its competition? Well, it depends on what's most important to you. If having mechanical all-wheel drive is important to you, yeah, maybe get the Subaru. The Mazda has mechanical all-wheel drive as well. If comfort is the most important thing to you, then this is probably the most comfortable out of the 3 Japanese wagons right now. But if I'm spending $44K, I might be getting the Crown Signia. Both the efficiency and the looks and the technology, I can get 360 camera on that if I need it. I can get a panel roof if I need it. If I get all those options on a Crown Signia, it's going to probably set me closer to $50K on that limited trim. The CX-50 Turbo, well, the ride quality is not nearly as good. Like, here's the thing. If I could have the looks of if I could have the comfort of this with the efficiency of the Toyota and the performance of the Mazda, it would be a perfect world, but nothing's perfect. So if you just prefer a super cushy ride with tons of cargo space and passenger space, probably the Subaru is best for you. And you have the benefit of having excellent all-wheel drive system and a nice turbo powertrain if you decide to get this XT grade. If not, if you don't care at all about performance and you're okay being slow in any situation, you can get the naturally aspirated engine. But I'm going to end it there. Let me know, out of the 3 cars I've compared today, which you'd be most interested in. I'm kind of comparing this top trim here to the CX-50 Premium or Premium Plus, turbo, of course. I'm comparing this to the Crown Signia, what is it, the XLT model? Because the Limited costs too much, like $5,000 more than this car does, or possibly even more. So I'm comparing the base, the Crown Signia, to this. I don't know, it depends on the day, the type of mood I'm in when you catch me, which of those vehicles I would pick. I would never pick this Subaru because of looks, but if I lived in the Pacific Northwest or the Northeast or the Midwest, I don't know, they all have all-wheel drive, and unless you're taking it on decently difficult trails, I would be happy with any of them. But if I feel like I'm a spirited driver listening to heavy metal one day, maybe I'll take the Mazda. If I feel like I want to look really, really, really good and get 50 miles per gallon, or try to get to that 50 mile per gallon mark in the Crown Signia, yeah, I'll go that route. If I just want to be in comfort mode and pampered by this excellent ride quality, then I'd pick the Subaru. All right, so I'll see you guys in the comments on which of those 3 vehicles you would pick they're all really good. They all have their strengths, they all have their weaknesses. Not one of them's a simple pick over the others. So I'm gonna shut it down there. Thank you guys for watching. Subaru, thank you for sending me your 25 Outback. I think I'll put on the screen like when the next Outback is probably slated for a redesign. I mean, here's the thing, if this simply had Toyota's hybrid powertrain, maybe it would be hard for me to recommend the Crown Signia over this because this vehicle is just so comfortable. Anyways, I'm gonna shut it down. Thank you guys. Subaru, bring a hybrid into this, for crying out loud. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.